Good morning, sixth standard. So, today we're going to look at the next poem there that we had said that is a nostalgic poem, and you remember what the meaning of nostalgia is, right? Like we said, it's a sentimental longing, right, for a period in the past or something that you had in the past and you've lost, and you feel emotional about that particular moment that you lost or that particular period that has gone by, that you enjoyed, or maybe you feel you could have enjoyed it even more, right? So this poem, it's called Tarantella. Okay. I'm sure you may have heard another word that sounds the same but has just one letter uh, changing there. I'm sure you do. Okay. Now, here it's text 11D. Okay. And it's called Tarantella. Now, I'm sure you've all heard about Tarantula, right? So there's a picture of the tarantula for you, and I'm sure you've heard of the tarantula, right? Or you may have seen it in a movie, or I'm sure you've seen it in a picture anyway. So, as I'm sure all of you know, the tarantula, it's a type of spider, right? And actually, it's a big group. It comprises of a group of large and often, hairy spiders. Okay, there are about 1,000 species in this group of tarantulas, and they are quite large, and they're able to eat large insects, these tarantulas, and they're supposed to be very poisonous too. And some of them are even big enough to eat lizards. Can you believe that? They're that big. And they have the venom in them is enough to paralyze the animal or kill the animal that it wants to eat. So some of them are even big enough to eat lizards and mice, bats, birds, and even small snakes. Okay. So I'm sure you're going to ask me, what connection does this have, ma'am, with the tarantella? Okay. Now, as you can see from that picture there, I mean, as you would have seen from your textbook, there are people dancing there, right? So, I think you may have guessed that tarantella is actually a dance. Okay, it's a dance, it's a folk dance, and it's fast and it has real upbeat tempo with it, fast beat to go along with it, and it's accompanied with the tambourine. Sure, all of you have played with a tambourine sometime or the other from when you were small, right? And usually we see this kind of music and this kind of dance in southern Italy and parts of Argentina too. Okay. Now, actually, it's believed that this dance, it was done uh, at that time. It was believed by the people at that time that if they did this dance, then the poison that was in them, because they had been bitten by the tarantula, it would go away from them. The poison would go. But there was another belief also that if the poison was in you, you had sort of fits and very jerky movements like in the dance. It was called tarantism. And this movements and this tarantula dance also sort of represents those fits that the person, or the movements the person went through because they were bitten by the tarantula spider. Okay. So there you see they have, it's you can see from the costumes that they're wearing that it's like a folk dance. The dress itself, they're not wearing very modern dresses. They're very villagish, as you would call it, from the countryside. Okay, so now we'll go on to the poem. Now, this poem actually, for the poet, it's Hilaire Belloc. Okay, Now, it's actually, why does he feel it's sentimental? Because actually, it talks to I mean, he talks about an inn, a hotel to which he went, where they had this dance going on. And he's thinking back on it, and the way the dance went, the people there, and the inn wasn't very comfortable because the bedding that they gave him wasn't, comfortable and a place where he could sleep well. But it is said that, it was a beautiful place. This inn, it was near a waterfall, okay? And it really did exist. They say that there are remains of it now also. There are remains of this particular inn, okay? And through the poem you hear that he mentions a person, Miranda, but there's no direct reference to the person called Miranda. So we just think maybe it was a lady he'd met, or he just mentions her name uh, throughout the poem. You see, there's lovely rhyming, internal rhyming itself, not just at the end of the sentences. In the middle of all the sentence, also you have that the rhyme, and so it lends a musical and a fast beat to the poem too. And invariably at the end, he's sad because this poem is set during the war. So at the end of the poem, it's sort of sad, and he refers to the boom of the bombs, or the boom that is like a waterfall at that time. Okay, so now we'll go through the poem. We'll read it together. So please open your text to page 143. Okay, now we'll read through the poem. And when we come to the next page, you turn over and follow there too. Okay, so text 11D. The Tarantella is a whirling southern Italian dance, once thought to be a remedy for the bite of a tarantula spider. Okay, so Tarantella. Do you remember an inn, Miranda? Do you remember an inn? And the tedding and the spreading of the straw for a bedding. So you see that rhyming there. And tedding means, you see that at the end of the lesson, it means the turning over the straw to make a sort of mattress. They made a mattress for him, which is very uncomfortable. But you see the rhyming there? Tedding and spreading and bedding, right? And the fleas that tease in the high Pyrenees. So once again, you see fleas and teas and high Pyrenees. Now the high Pyrenees are a group of mountains in Spain. Okay, and so we see that they're talking that, and the Pyrenees, that mountain, it does touch on the Italy also, but mainly we see it in Spain. Okay, and the wine that tasted of tar. So they're telling you that the wine there doesn't taste good too, right? So the wine you have fleas that tease you, right? And you have a bedding that's not comfortable, and you have a place where the wine, it doesn't taste good too. And the cheers and the jeers of the young muleteers under the vine of the dark veranda. Do you remember an inn, Miranda? Do you remember an inn? So they're talking about the cheers, the happiness there, and the jeers. Jeers is when they're making fun, right? You're mocking somebody. Of the young muleteers, that means maybe they're joking with one another. Muleteers are the people who look after the mules. A mule, of course, is a type of donkey, right? It's a half donkey and a half horse. Okay, that's called a mule. Once again, you see the repetition of that sentence. And the cheers and the jeers of the young muleteers. Okay, so once again, the rhyming, and to show you that they're having a good time there. See, once again, it is his good memories, his nostalgia when he's thinking of all the these people, the young men, also having a good time there, who hadn't got a penny and who weren't paying any, and the hammer at the doors and the din, and the hip hop hap of the clap of the hands to the swirl and the twirl. See the movement and the dance that he feels there as he's watching. Of the girl gone chancing, glancing, dancing, banking and advancing, snapping the clapper to the spin. So the clapper is an instrument that goes clap in between according to the beat, right? Out and in, and the ting tong tang of the guitar. Do you remember an in, Miranda? Do you remember an in? So, see the happy moments that are brought out through the way he's talking about all the movement that's going on there, the sound and the twirling and the swirling of all those beautiful skirts of the ladies, right? And the beat that's there, and you have the clapper and the sound of the clapper, right? So you can make out the happiness, the mood that is in that inn at that time, that hotel. But once again, but now you see that now the tone is different in the poem. Okay, nevermore, Miranda, nevermore. So he says, this we will not hear again. It is gone. It is in the past. Only the high peaks hoar. So he says, only the high peaks, that means the mountains of that are frosty with ice, and the Aragon, a torrent at the door. So he says that Aragon is actually the name of a Spanish river, and he says that the everything seems to be in a hurry, and the door seems to be as if it's going to break open with this torrent of the river. But at that time, he says there's no sound. And we can make out here that the poem is a lament. It is a sad poem that he's recollecting all these with a sort of sadness in him. Okay? And he says, no sound in the walls of the halls where falls the tread. You see the rhyming there? Walls of the halls where falls the tread, where the footsteps fall. Tread means the footstep of the person. Of the feet of the dead to the ground. No sound. So it's all somber, dull, right? And there's no sound, no footsteps there. But the boom of the far waterfall like doom. And he says that there's a sudden sound that is like a waterfall, and it is creating a boom. And here it is believed that he is actually referring to the bombs that are falling during the war. Okay, so that is the meaning of the poem for you there. Okay, so now we'll go on to the exercises that follow up there. That's exercise 8. Okay, on a copy of text 11D and working with a partner, underline and comment how the following aspects of the poem affect its rhythm. Okay, so first the variation of line lengths. Now you see there are short lines and there are long lines. Some of them have just one word, some of them have 10 words, right? So that itself shows, excuse me, you see there's an extreme variation in the line length, right? And this, it conveys the erratic nature of the dance itself. You know, you have short steps, you have fast steps, and you have steps full of energy, isn't it? So there you see the variation in the length of the sentences affecting the rhythm of the poem as if it is the song. They're using the energy of the people and the way they are enjoying it, and they're so merry there. The internal rhyme within the lines. Okay, now here the lines that we were referring to would be, you remember, fleas, tease, the Pyrenees, then you have cheers and jeers, swirl and twirl, and then walls, halls, and falls. Okay, now this sort of gives music to the poem, and the rhyming words Not only that, it gives, the sort of the fact that there are repeated dance movements when you have these words also being repeated there. Okay. So this also, these words add to the rhythm, add to the music of the poem. Now, the use of questions. Now, here, where do we have the questions? The questions were only the times that he was referring to Miranda, right? Now, that's what, as I told you, we don't remember, we don't know who Miranda is. Maybe she's somebody from the past, or maybe she's somebody who is there within the present also. But we feel that maybe she's in his mind, in his memory, and maybe he's recollecting the evening that he spent with her in the inn in the Pyrenees Mountains. Okay, and the fact that they were watching the dancing and the guitar playing, right? So, with the repeated word of Miranda, we feel that, especially in the last verse, when the last verse on page 143, nevermore, Miranda, nevermore. You feel that there's a sadness there, that, he has a longing for the past, before this doom came there, before this act of the bomb that he refers to, and to the wartime that he refers to here. Okay, so that is the eighth question there for you. Now, question 9, it says that you have to write a poem. Okay, this we'll skip it for now. Okay, they're telling you to write a poem that has movement, and that has sound like that of a train, or the galloping of a horse, or any other kind of different music that they're using as an example there. uh, they're telling you to give the poem a suitable title, and write one there. Okay, so maybe we'll get back to that later. Okay, so good morning once again, sixth standard, and I hope you all have a great day.